I would like to shout out Dina Williams for sending me this particular video right here. And I can't count how many times I have spoken in the past all the way up to the present when it comes to, I guess you could say, a war on black hair styles, braids in particular. Now, this video is not going to be the same old cultural appropriation or a black woman getting fired for the hairstyles that she wears. This one's taking a whole different turn. And basically, in the state of Tennessee, when I just got done talking about that nut ass state, is fining black women for braiding hair. I'm talking about thousands of dollars in fines for simply braiding hair. Now, you're probably wondering, how in the hell are they able to hit these black women with these fines? Well, they're going and they're targeting black women who braid hair who are quote unquote unlicensed to do so as far as a profession goes. How many people are running illegal businesses in this establishment right now? And they make basically what it is, they're going after these women who work in already established businesses who don't have a license, and they're targeting them specifically. And they're most likely working in salons that are owned by obviously a black person. They're trying to get them up out of, this is their way of trying to get them up out of there. First off, Tennessee, no. After that video I just did about them, it wouldn't be a market there, honestly speaking. But let me go ahead and read this article. It says lawmakers in Tennessee are making it difficult for black salon professionals to make money braiding hair by slapping harsh fines on their businesses if they hire unlicensed braiders. That's a problem for braiders like Fatu Diouf. I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly. I'm probably messing it up though. A small braiding business owner who is suffering because of a stifling $16,000 in fine she has been ordered to pay. One of her braiders reportedly did not have a government license to braid hair in her shop, and that runs afoul in the Tennessee Board of Cosmetology and Barber Examiner's policy. As a result, Fatu, the fine was levied against her as a disciplinary action. So far, nearly $100,000 in fines were issued to more than 30 different natural hair shops and salons since 2009 in the state for unlicensed braiders. Diouf, who is making good use of a skill she says she learned as a child, believes the exorbitant fees levied against her are putting a strain on her livelihood. The board is also issuing penalties for unlicensed braiding shops and braiders who work out of their home. Anyone interested in braiding hair professionally is required to take 300 hours of classes for performing natural hair care services like braiding, locking hair, twisting, wrapping, and weaving. But Diouf says we don't need 300 hours to know how to wash a clip or a comb. The hair braiding business is dominated by African and African American women, and taking classes mean they would have to sacrifice financially for 2 months and attend classes. The courses run from $5,000 to, I think they wrote this wrong, from $1,500 to $5,000 for tuition, and only 3 schools in the whole state offer courses. Only 3 states in the entire, only 3 schools in the state of Tennessee offer this kind of course that they are required to take. So they got to pay all this money, spend all this time to learn how to do something most of them have been knowing how to do before they probably before they got to middle school or high school for some. When it comes to hair braiding and stuff like that, that's just something I think black women as a whole have a natural knack for. And they didn't have to go to class. It's like a natural trade that they just naturally have. But they make it harder for them because it's like, oh, we need you to take this course and that course and spend all this time and all this money. That's really what it's about, is money at the end of the day. Most of the civil penalties are $1,000. While most of the braiders across the country can work without a license, Diouf is left fighting for her right to eliminate the state license requirement. She is working with the Institute for Justice and the Beacon Center and has testified in favor of a bill that would eliminate the state's license for natural hairstylists and the fines levied against them. In 2012, a Utah woman who braids hair to supplement her family's income won a federal lawsuit against the state over its licensing process for her craft. arguing state regulations violated her right to earn a living. A federal judge ruled that the state's requirement that Justina Clayton get a cosmetology license to braid hair was unconstitutional and invalid because regulations are irrelevant to Clayton's profession. Clayton, age 30, sued after she found it would be illegal to run a hair braiding business without a license, in part because of public health and safety concerns. Clayton says she learned how to braid hair as a 5-year-old in her West African home country of Sierra Leone, and she has been doing it at her suburban Salt Lake City home to support her 3 children, ages 7, 5, and 1, while her husband finishes school. I'm excited. I can't believe it, Clayton said of the ruling. You go in with the hope, but sometimes things don't go your way. Well, I hope that this young lady is able to fight tooth and nail to get this thing situated. But I'm gonna be honest, in Tennessee, good luck. At first, I didn't know what was going to happen when it came to that woman in Utah, because that's another white-dominated state as well. That's the Mormon state, after all. So I'm actually kind of surprised that she won, but I am, however, glad that she did win her case. And that's crazy because, like, here you have these women who are, like, trying to run their own businesses, and they're constantly getting hassled over and over again. I don't know if y'all remember this movie that came out in 2005 called Beauty Shop with Queen Latifah, and it had a host of other stars in the movie. But it was scenes in that movie where she, like, she basically was a black hairstylist from Chicago who moved to Atlanta with her daughter to pretty much start her own thing. And she worked in this upscale shop that was ran by a white guy, played by Kevin Bacon in the movie. And one day, she just got fed up and said, you know what, I'm going to go and start my own shop. She got the money, opened up her own shop, went through the little issues and whatnot with some of the people that worked there. But noticing some of the scenes, there was this guy who pretended to be an inspector to come, and I notice I said pretended because he wasn't a real one. And to say that she got all these fines and all these code violations that needed to be fixed, and if she had got 3 of them, they were going to shut her down. And this guy literally kept coming over and over again, trying to like do something, or say that something was violated and everything like that, even though it clearly wasn't. And come to find out, Kevin Bacon's character was sending over this so-called inspector to do all these violations. Well, actually, he wasn't. I take that back. He wasn't pretending to be an inspector. He actually was an inspector. He hired him. And to say that all these problems was happening with her shop and things of that nature, it's because Queen Latifah was one of the most popular stylists in his shop, and she had a way of gravitating people towards her. So he started losing clientele, even some of his high paying clients, and he got mad and jealous of her business doing so well in such a short amount of time. And then it even got to the point in the movie where it got so, like, he got so jealous of her that, he said, we got to take this a step further as far as sabotaging her shop. We need to destroy it. So what happened? They ended up trashing her shop. Like, it's like if you watch that movie and you look past all of the comedy that was happening in that movie, and you really dissect what was going on with that situation, which I just talked about, that's no different than what these women are probably going through right now. Of course, on the movie, it's a more like dramatic effect, but in a real world, this is what a lot of black business owners as a whole have to go through, like, to protect their business and their investments in their future. Like, this woman is spending out thousands of dollars for BS that she can be putting back into her shop or looking to hire more employees. But because they say she's violating this so-called state law, which sounds like some BS in its entirety, it's all messed up at the end of the day, but it's not surprising. And like I said, it's happening in Tennessee. I just, like I said, did a video talking about that. And it's like, it's hard. It really, I'm not going to sit here and say that it's easy. A lot of people say, well, if black people go into business for themselves, then maybe we wouldn't have these issues. Let me tell you something right now. Black people can do every bit of things for themselves, but we are still going to have to deal with hurdle jumping as far as dealing with these colonizers, because at the end of the day, they are still in positions of power. They still hold political power, and they still hold financial power. They hold a lot of power. They are literally doing this to mess with this woman because they see that she's being successful, and then they want to pull out the rule book. Notice that they'll never pull out the rule book on their own, or sometimes in some cases on any other group. So I hope that she's able to pull through this and still be able to find success, even if she has to leave. But it's unfortunate if she has to end up uprooting her life just to move to another location. And the fact that they said there's only 3 schools like that in the state lets you know that it's no market there. Maybe she should go to the next state over. Maybe she should go to Atlanta or something like that. It may be saturated, but at least she probably won't have to deal with that crap there, especially since Atlanta has a huge black population. But that's all I really wanted to say about this. You let me know what you think in the comments.